In 2016, at the age of 20, he became the youngest member of the Paralympic wheelchair rugby team, where the U.S. captured silver in Rio. Then he followed that accomplishment up by being named Rugby Player of the Year in 2017. Welcome, Kory Puderbaugh. Kory, let's jump right in. From everything that I've learned about you, it would be an understatement to say your life has been anything less than difficult.
Yeah, it's had lots of ups, lots of downs, lots of challenging times. But I've also had a very incredible life, and I'm very blessed, very lucky, and very fortunate to have the life that I do.
You know, man, from being raised in an orphanage in Poland to all the way up to meeting President Obama, then President Obama at the White House, that's a heck of a journey. Take us through that and give us a couple of memories along the way, how you got from one place to another. I mean, that's a pretty stunning accomplishment.
Yeah, it's a very long story actually, but I'll try and condense it into a small can. But essentially, I came over to the U.S. when I was 5 years old, a week before 9/11. I had been with different families. I've lived with different families throughout my childhood, and I wrestled, did all kinds of sports, chess, you name it. And I got introduced to murder ball and fell in love right away with it. And with I was told, you could be a really good player and you could play at the top level. And so it took me 4 or 5 years to get to that level where I could come at a tryout. And once I did, it was a whole nother game to learn because at the highest level, it's two different games. But I was fortunate to name to the team and that went to Rio, and we got a silver medal, lost in double overtime, and then afterwards, all the Team USA athletes got invited to the White House, and we were there for 3 or 4 days. I think we had a celebration, and we all got to meet the president, Michelle Biden at the time, and I asked Obama. I said, "When are you going to work on your six-pack again?" And he laughed and said, "I'm just going to work on my four-pack for now." But he's a great guy, and it's truly incredible. So I think we might be going back to the White House again next year. I don't know, but just because of COVID. But nonetheless, the White House experience was truly amazing, and I one I'll never forget.
All right, Kory, let's talk a little bit about rugby. So you are classified a 3.0. The only thing higher than that is a 3.5. So a lot of offensive plays have to be sent through you. The three O's, the 3.5s, you got a little bit more mobility out on the court. How many plays are specifically designed? I mean, by the naked eye, you would think this looks like a lot of chaos, chairs running into one another, you know, but it's not really. It's very organized. So how many plays do they run specifically through you, and what's the expectation of a 3.0?
Sure, yeah. That's very well said, actually. Organized chaos, because yeah, it's we have what's called key plays where we all get where team sits back in the key and we have to get through them. So we have about 4 or 5 different plays designed to get through that to score a goal. Offensively, when you're just trying to get the ball in and score like normal, maybe 2 or 3. But as a whole, my job is to stay spaced. I have a little harder time getting the ball out just because I don't have full hands. So my job is to create space and create havoc on the court. And on defense, that's my specialty. On defense is where my bread and butter is. My job is to get the ball back essentially and kill everybody on the court. So my specialty lies more in defense. However, I have had to improve my offensive game just because, if you don't score and your goals, you're not going to win. So, we all have weaknesses as players, and we're all trying to improve them, and we all have strengths that we're also trying to increase even better.
Man, I read a quote and I want to pull it. It's a paraphrase, but I really liked it. I mean, I read a lot of stuff about you and I thought this was just great. You relish, quote unquote, you relish each cut, bruise, and howling muscle. All of it is simply the price you pay to live the life you want. I think that in many ways, after everything I've learned about you, that this pretty well sums up not only you as a human being, but also maybe your style of play.
For sure, yes. I believe that anything in life that you want, you have to work at it and also pay the price. You can't you if you want something, you have to sacrifice other things, to become or to be where you want to be end up in life. And yeah, I mean, a lot of people will have a goal that they want to get, but a lot of people get those cuts and bruises and they're like, I don't know if this is worth it. So for me, I committed to it, and I have my whys as to why I want to do something, and it just pulls me along. And so I enjoy the battle, the journey, because if you're just handed a gold medal, you're not gonna appreciate it. But with the heart, there's a quote I really like by Les Brown. He says, "The harder the battle, the sweeter the victory." So it's all part of the journey, and it makes you really appreciate when you do achieve what you want to do. Uh, it just makes it that much more sweeter the harder it is.
All right, man. So let's run down this Rio thing. You guys go to Rio. You come home with a double OT loss of 59-58 to Australia, and you come away with a silver. That probably was satisfying to get a silver, but it wasn't quite getting the gold. Here we go. Fast forward 4 years later, 2020 or 2021, as it may be. You guys go up against Great Britain and you struggle once again and you come home with a silver. Is it getting to the point where the silver is becoming less than satisfactory? And is the gold something that you are pretty hungry for at this point?
I mean, absolutely. A lot of people say, "Oh, at least you got to go to, or at least you medaled," and you don't go into a competition saying, "Oh, I hope I do okay." You go in there and say, "We're going to win this whole thing," and it's very disappointing to come short twice in 5 years, 4 years, depending on how you look at it. And you can give up, like I said earlier, or you can say, "Let's buckle down," and we have to work around it and say, what can we do better next time? How can we be smarter? Work harder. So our program as a whole, we have a reputation for medaling at all the games, and we want the best every time. And so, of course, when we go to Paris, gold is the goal. It's not silver, it's not bronze, it's the whole show.
Right. I can well understand that. But, the bottom line is that you guys have played quite well. I mean, to come away with two silvers and to be as young as you are is really quite an accomplishment. You've got a couple of really nice medals there, but I understand how you could definitely want more. So what's the plan? I mean, all the way, looking this far out, 3 years away, looking towards Paris, what is the U.S. team doing? What's the strategy to try and get yourselves over the hump?
Right. Good question. Yeah. First of all, I have to give credit to just our amazing team and staff. We have an incredible program led by incredible people, and I wouldn't pick any other teammates in the world to play with. They're incredible. As far as how do we adjust and get over that hump, we are constantly looking for new talent. We're constantly looking for how do we improve 1% each day. And I think actually we are going to be having some changes to our program up and coming. I don't know if it's staff or if it's just, I just have heard that we're going to have changes. And, I think as a whole, we just need to be more, have the guys in our program and within the program more involved and committing more, and we need all the support that we can. So and just staying hungry. A lot of the guys have been on the team 10, 12 years, and they've been waiting for a gold or wanting a gold medal for over a decade. And you just have to do every little thing right. You can't mess up. On the small things. You can't neglect the hydration, the line changes, the tiniest of details, they all add up. 1%, 1%, 1%. And hats off to Great Britain. they came in that gold medal game and they adjusted their game plan, whereas I think we kind of expected that our previous game plan would work, which it didn't. So they rightfully earned the gold medal, and we didn't. So we learned something new.
You were talking about practice and training. Take us inside what a practice looks like for a rugby team. It's got to be multifaceted. I mean, beyond line drills and ball passing. What is How long would a practice be? How tough is a practice, and what types of drills and things do you do to get better each and every time?
For sure, yeah. Normally we warm practice will last go between 2 and 3 hours at the USA level normally. When we're at camp, we go probably 2 sessions a day. For tryouts, we actually do 2.5 to 3 hour sessions because tryouts is also a mental grind as well as a physical grind. But normally, once you're a normal practice, you warm up for about 10 to 20 minute stretch. We do some drills like you said, passing. And then we do a lot of just chair positioning work. We do a lot of key work. We do a lot of drawing plays up, a lot of film study. And after you've been playing with the same guys over and over, you all learn each other's habits. So it's even more important that when we do get playing time, it's been harder with COVID, that when we get video against other teams, that we study that even more, and we come away with little pieces that will add that extra 1%. Because at this level, all the top 4 or 5 teams, anybody can beat anybody on any given day. So it's just it's a grind, and it's not even just about what's in practice that you do. It's the recovery after, stretching, the hydration, the nutrition. A lot of people think it's just the training, but it's everything. I mean, you know it's just as well as I do.
Of course. Hey, man! I met Chuck Aoki probably a little over a decade ago, and he was just a young kid at the time, but he's still dominating in the sport. I saw him play a couple of the games that you guys had in Tokyo, and man, oh man, a guy he's managed to maintain his peak for a very long time. Is Chuck still considered one of the best players in the game, and if he is, I mean, name 2 or 3 of the other players who are just super intimidating out on the circuit.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, Chuck is an excellent player, and he's always been a role model for me, not just as a player, but as a friend and a teammate. He he uh, he has this unique talent of being able to slow things down mentally. So he sees things long before they even happen, and I think that's just because he has all that experience, and he's had a good background in wheelchair sports. But for sure, he's without a doubt, top 2 players in the world. Him and Riley, I think, would be considered 1 and 2.
It's funny you should talk about Riley Batt, because I remember him all the way back in 2008, the Beijing games, and he was just completely dominant at the time. I mean, he was bigger, stronger, and faster. I never saw anybody just control the floor the way he did.
Right, right. He is, yeah. And I love playing against both those guys, because it forces my game to get better, and I just love playing against guys with that same aggression, that same mentality of let's destroy everybody on the court. But yeah, no, Riley and Chuck are probably the 2 most experienced, best players in the world. And I've learned a lot from both their games. I mean, most of my game is founded on both of what I've learned from them. So.
Kory, it's easy enough to throw a lot of the attention at the 3.0s and the 3.5s because they do so much offensively. But, you have to have a good mix out there to get to your maximum of 8 points on the court. So what about the 0.5s? Can you recognize or think of any one particular, 0.5 who is just an outstanding player who does something that just really blows you away?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I think our very own Jeff Butler on our team is one of the best, if not the best, point five in the world. He's one of the smartest, most innovative point fives, and he also just has a really good inbound. And I think probably Johnny Coggin from Great Britain. He's fast, strong, smart, and those 2.5s. They're both. If any team that has either of those will do very, very well. So they just both know the game super well. They're both fast and have unique skill sets that all other .5s in the world don't have.
Well, your accolades include being a 3-time tourney MVP and a double silver medalist, Kory. I'd really like to thank you for joining us. It was really a pleasure, and I felt like I learned a lot today.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me. And I admire what you're doing on the show, and I've watched some of the interviews. So, thank you, Bob. And I also love that picture in the background.
Thanks, man.